Hey everyone!
Yay!
Just to get some promotion out of the way first, on Saturday the 7th, so this coming Saturday, I'm gonna be doing a 12-hour live stream here on YouTube that'll be going from 10 a.m. Central Time to 10 p.m. We did the same thing when we were promoting the Indiegogo campaign for Jesus Bro, and we're doing it for this one as well. So yeah, you'll get to donate, ask us questions, all that stuff. We'll be just kind of shooting the shit for about 12 hours. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Come stop and see us. I sent you a text earlier to be like, hey, are you free on Saturday? And I said oh yeah, we're doing this 12-hour live stream thing. And you were like, cool, what for? And I go like, oh shit, did I not tell you we're doing a sequel to the Snob movie?
Well, I knew, but it was one of those situations my brain wasn't working today, so I was kind of like, it's the day after the 4th. I went back to work. I wasn't really, I was just like, I can't think straight right now.
I've been exhausted all week. Yeah. I've been exhausted all week and today as well. Like, I was so happy that they accidentally gave me the larger cup. Like, I paid for the smaller like I usually do, but I'm like, oh sweet, excellent. But unlike I was also really tired when I was at the first Purge the other night, and in the review I was like, man, I was so sleepy watching this. This movie should be entertaining me. It's not, blah blah. I'm like, I just want to go to bed when the movie's over. In this movie's case though, like, we went to a later screening, which is kind of why I'm so tired. But like, we went to a later screening for this movie because the other one was too early. Like, it wasn't showing at 7 earlier. It was showing
6,
at like,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Weird.
I was like, man, I got shit to do. I still got in-laws in town. So anyway, this one though, yeah, I sat through it. Was pretty tired going in, and I certainly can't wait to get to bed when I get back home. But this was fun. Oh, yeah. This was really entertaining, and it was definitely holding my attention, making me laugh, just giving me a really, really good time at the movies. And it was nice to have some caffeine in me too. Did you like the first Ant-Man?
Yeah, I did. Like, I mean, there's not been a whole lot of Marvel movies where I've been like, man, that was crap.
Yeah.
I thought this one is kind of more the same, like with the first Ant-Man. It was a little bit, it was goofier, but it came out at a time where it kind of needed that with the first one, and I think even more so in this case, coming right off of Infinity War.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of people were calling it like a palate cleanser. It very much is.
It is.
It's fun. There's a lot of humor in it. A villain, for once we have a villain who's not super one-dimensional, and for once you don't like hate them.
No,
like there's been a couple times where I don't know if it's just them getting better at realizing that they've made their villains very one-dimensional.
They've gotten better. They've gotten a lot better at it.
But in the case of Ghost, who's one of the main villains, who you see in the trailer, who can phase in and out of quantum states. She's not really a true villain. She's an antagonist.
Yeah,
is what I'll call her. She's not a villain. She's an antagonist.
I really enjoyed that about this movie. There's a lot I really liked about this movie, and you are right. This is this movie's purpose, especially in coming out when it's coming out, is absolutely to be a more lighthearted palate cleanser to just kind of put you in a good mood.
Except till you get to the post-credit scene though, and then you're just fuck me, Jesus Christ.
I'll get to that in a bit, but you're one of the things I did really enjoy about this was the Ghost character. Now, the plot of this movie is that Scott's been on house arrest for a couple of years now because of Germany, and he's only got a few days left before his house arrest ends. And in this 3 days, Hank Pym and Hope, sorry. Holly, Jesus, I am tired.
It's not Holly Golightly.
Anyway, Hank and Pepper Potts decide to Hope. They've built essentially this mechanism that'll get her mom back, who is still stuck, and there's a lot of big terms in this movie, who is still stuck in the quantum leap, I want to say. It is the quantum leap, I think. It's still stuck in the quantum realm. And the character of Ghost, I enjoy a lot because this is a really sympathetic character.
Oh, yeah.
This is an antagonist, certainly, because they are after the same thing that Ant-Man and the Wasp are. But when you see the really kind of fucked up and tragic backstory that this character has, when you find out why they're doing what they're doing and the reasons behind it, because this person only has a very short time left to live, taking into consideration also the kind of fucked up origin that this character has and everything she's been through as an adult. Yeah, this is a really sympathetic character. You get why this character is this desperate and will go through about any means necessary to get this lab, which is you've seen this in the trailer, which is in the building that they grow and shrink and just carry around like it's luggage. That is basically the MacGuffin of this movie, in which several characters are trying to get this for the technology, including these crime figures led by Walton Goggins.
Yes.
This group of people, like, I kept kind of forgetting they were in the movie until they would turn up again. Like, these characters would show up and they sort of feel like if Ant-Man was a 70s procedural, these guys would be the villains of the week on a particular episode.
Yeah, that would be. But it works out because Walton Goggins is such a fantastic character actor. I don't think I've ever seen a role where he hasn't thrown 110% behind it. He gets into it, and he's nonstop until the end of the movie, and it's fun. And he's fun in everything he does. And this movie is no exception.
I liked this movie better than I liked the first one.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
And I enjoyed the first movie. I thought it was fine. This one, I would say, is one of the better sequels in the MCU. I don't know if I'd say it was the best, because the Captain America sequels are really fucking good. This one I'd put above quite a few of the sequels. It's more focused than the first movie is. A lot of the humor works a lot better in this. And yeah, it's a sequel, so certainly they play around with growing shit, shrinking shit, throwing all that stuff. A lot of that stuff you see in the trailer, but it is a more focused film. I mean, the first one, as much as I had fun with the first one, it had some comic relief that I didn't care that much for, and also, like, it would take 5 minutes out just to be a Baskin-Robbins commercial at one point. This one, I didn't care that much for, like, Michael Pena and his friends in the first movie. In this one, I got a decent amount of laughs out of him from this. Yeah. Like, more so than I did in the first one. Like, yeah, there's some times in this where it can be a little much when it starts getting into "we're gonna die" territory. But they did get some genuine laughs out of me in this. And really, the heart of this movie, and the first one too, is that Scott Lang is just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, he is just a dude who is trying to get his life back together, is trying to be a good dad. He's a good ex-husband. Like, he's just really trying to get his shit together. He's trying to grow this business with his friends. Like, he is 1,000% a relatable character. And when he's in this heavily scientific story with very long words, very, very complex scientific explanations for everything, it's fun seeing that character there who is having realistic reactions to how someone would probably react when there's just a lot of shit being talked about and going on that they're not going to have a fucking clue as to what they're talking about.
But they didn't dumb him down.
No, he's not dumb.
Because he still has the electrical engineering degree. So it's it's not his realm of science.
Yeah.
So it like the electrical stuff he's fine with, but then you start talking about quantum physics.
Yeah.
And it just you lose him. And he just goes, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Paul Rudd, who has timing and a half and can just throw a line like a motherfucker. Like, he's incredibly funny at this. It just looks he'll give, or reactions with his head or his eyes, just little quick glances and everything.
He's perfected the role of the everyman.
Oh yeah.
Over the course of his career, and it's honed to a fine point in this movie to where it's just, yep, this is perfect casting for this role.
Also, Paul Rudd is the person who, where if this character shows up in a movie 20 years from now, they won't need to do any de-aging special effects on him.
He'll look the same.
He will just look the same.
I was gonna say that brings us to the de-aging as far as they actually de-aged 3 characters in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's well done. It's every time I've seen it, it's especially with the Marvel, they've perfected it really. But it was kind of shocking for me to have Michelle Pfeiffer turn around and it's young Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit. Like that's early 90s Michelle Pfeiffer right there.
Yeah.
With a brown wig.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Michael Douglas comes around the corner and he looks like mid-80s Michael Douglas. And I'm just like, holy shit.
How old is this movie again? Man, how tired am I?
and then they de-aged Lawrence Fishburne, and it's like, holy shit. But for that, all they had to do is give him hair.
I know, right? He didn't look exactly like he didn't look like Larry Fishburne from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. They just kind of darkened his hair a little bit, and you know what? For the most part, it looked. I remember thinking it looked better in the first one, but granted, in the first one, I think it was just the one character, I think. Right. And I remember thinking it looked better on Kurt Russell, but for the most part...
The thing with Kurt Russell, though, he's like, that was 90% me and 10% special effects.
Oh, yeah.
Which I could believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with Kurt Russell, I don't think they really had to do much as far as visual effects.
Yeah.
A lot of it was makeup and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I mean... I love Michael Douglas, but he's getting up there. You know? Is he in the 70s?
He's gotta be, man.
Because, I mean, his dad's 100 now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's gotta be close to, if not in his 70s. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he looks good for his age. It's not like he's...
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And you know, for the most part, like, those effects do look good. I think there were, like, a couple of shots where, like, a character would be, like, kind of in shadows, and I'd be like, is that young Michael Douglas or Emilio Estevez? but for the most part, it does look good. But it's one of those things too where it's one of those effects that no matter how good or bad it's done, and it is done good here, but no matter how good or bad it's done, you are instinctively just looking for any kind of weirdness with it. You know what I mean?
Because yeah. I mean, it's. I don't think it's ever going to be enough to take you out. Of the realism, like you're not going to sit there and look at that and immediately go, "Oh, well, they just, you know."
In this movie, not really. Like I've seen it done before where it's been not good, but granted, that would have been in something from a while ago. I remember thinking, oh well, Rogue One had some pretty creepy moments of that.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing with Rogue One. There was times when you looked at Tarkin, I'm like, that's uncanny.
No,
and then there's other times you're just like, wow, that looks terrible. And there was never a balance where it was always on or always, it was one or, it seemed like it was always one or the other.
With him, with Cushing, I remember sitting there watching that movie going like, you know what, if I didn't know, I don't know if I'd really think anything here or if I'd really think something was up, except for maybe a couple of times. But then when the ending with Leia.
Oh, God. I'm like, that was the one, too. It's like, it's not like Carrie Fisher was dead.
Uh-huh.
Peter Cushing is dead, so I understand there's only so much you can do with, facial mapping and the such. But you had Carrie Fisher as a reference. And granted, she doesn't look the same as she did, but you have, that kind of a reference, you should be able to it should make it more realistic than what it was.
Didn't they get someone who was like kind of a lookalike and then added some effects to him or something?
Yeah. So, they did have a guy, obviously they had to have, they had a character actor who looked similar, but it was one of those things, your visual references are all from 30 years ago.
Sure.
30 plus years ago.
Let's get a still shot and Clutch Cargo that shit.
Just put a mask.
I know, right?
I know.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am off talking.
Game of death, this shit.
But yeah, the Leia one, it was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, especially, it was like they ran out of money. Or like they tacked it on at the end. So they're just like, just do something. Just throw it in there at the end. Just as a little stinger for the fans.
It's to get into, like, spoiler territory here. When it gets... Cause there's two credit scenes. There's one in the middle and there's one at the very end. One of them, you kind of know going into this movie what it's going to be. Like, it's... Or like, what is probably going to happen or what it's going to reference. And it is. Like, you certainly get that here. When you watch it, though, when you watch it happen, you said, because you know it's going to reference Infinity War. And it does. But when it actually does happen in the movie, in the mid-credit scene, it's like, wow, man, this guy's fucked.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Like, I wasn't prepared. Like, I was prepared for it tying in. I wasn't prepared for how fucked this... it leaves one of the characters. Yeah. And then, with the other post-credit scene, I was trying to think in my head, I was like, is this the only, like, post-credit scene for one of these movies that is in the trailer? That shot that from the very end of this movie is in the trailer.
Yeah, but it's also in the middle of the movie too.
From a different angle.
Yeah.
The shot that's from a different angle. Like it's a callback to something earlier in the movie. And I remember being really glad that they did a good job of explaining that ant in this. 'Cause I remember in the trailer going like, what? How is this gonna be a thing?
Why is there an ant drumming?
Yeah. How is this gonna be a all right, sure, but no. In the movie, they actually they do explain it. They do. Even a couple of questions I had about the growing and shrinking building, they really do in this, and it's a fun and entertaining enough movie that I was really just along for the. Really just along for the ride on this. It's just, the movie flows better than the first one did. It does, it has a better, as much as I really like Corey Stoll, this one has a better antagonist, with Ghost. The humor is done better in this film. It is a funny movie, and it succeeds at what it's there to do, which is to give you a laugh and give you a good time after Infinity War. So yeah, I really did have a blast with this movie.
Yes.
It's a really, really, really likable film. It has incredibly likable characters. It's got a plot that's, you just relate to these characters, for both of them, to the heroes for trying to get their mom back, and also with all the shit that Ghost went through. It's like, wow, I really just kind of want everything to work out for both sides of these people.
Yeah, it's one of those films where you know what happens to Marvel bad guys and antagonists in these movies. So it was like you were hoping against hope that there was not going to be something like that in this movie. That's what type of character Ghost is. You don't actually want to see anything bad happen to this character.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see. It's kind of, like I said, it's nice to see Marvel kind of branching out a little bit. They started with Thanos. like to the point where they give Thanos enough of a backstory where it doesn't like you don't agree with what he's doing, but you can understand why he's doing it, like the stuff that he's been through and why he's developed the sensibilities he has, why he wants to kill half the people. And Ghost, to a much less maniacal extent. You completely understand her aims and why she's trying to do it, and you sympathize. Like, well, I kind of hope that she gets to that point.
I could also say that about Michael Keaton's character too in Homecoming, where they have these villains where it's like, okay, you might not agree with the methods of what they're doing, but it's like they're written in a way where it's like, okay, this person has a solid story here. Like, I understand what this character is about, and they have been getting better at a lot better at their villains, like Thanos, of course, like, and Vulture in Homecoming.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, to have to be, to be the sole provider and support your family and have to be in this tough spot like that. Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, that's definitely a good characterization on that too. So, and I mean, of course, with Thanos, I mean, if you fuck Thanos up, you basically fuck up this whole 10-year plan that you guys have been setting up. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were going hardcore and making sure that they got the characterization down that they wanted. And
it has been a good year for villains. We also had Killmonger this year.
Oh, fuck. I keep forgetting about Black Panther. Like, I guess I should, and I'll get heat for that, but...
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, I loved Killmonger, too. Now, he was one where you were rooting against him the whole time, of course. But yeah, I mean, like, you completely understand. It's like, yeah, I can understand why you'd be there. I can understand exactly why you're pissed off.
I understand why this character got to this point. Is this the last one until the next Infinity War? Until the next Avengers?
Captain Marvel, I think, comes out in March.
Okay.
So I think it's... Because it's supposed to tie... I think it's the lead-in to the fourth Avengers.
Okay.
Because from what I've been reading, she's going to play a big part in helping set things right in the fourth Avengers movie. But I think that's it. So now we have to go from now until March before we get a whole 8-9 month stretch where we don't have a Marvel movie, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Seems like we've been having
what dude, we got Venom coming up.
I feel like that movie's gonna suck, but I'm like, please don't waste Tom Hardy.
I know,
Tom Hardy's so fucking good. Don't waste him.
At least
don't bane his ass. Do not bane his ass.
At least we'll have had a. If that movie comes out and it's bad, at least we'll have already had a good Venom, a great Venom movie this year, which was Upgrade.
That was crazy.
Did you go see Upgrade?
Hell yeah, I went to
Oh my god, that was so fucking good.
Not expecting that movie at all, and I'm just like, holy shit, this was fun.
Yeah. That might be my favorite movie of the year so far. It's up there. It's at least in the top 3. God damn, I fucking love that movie. I'm sad it's not playing here anymore, but God, that movie was so fucking cool. At least we'll have that if Venom turns out to be terrible.
And I saw the trailer for that, and I'm just like, oh man, this looks corny, it looks cheesy, and then you get into it, and you're just like, no, this is actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where the trailer didn't do its service. That was, because it was a hell of a lot of fun.
So the recommendation is check out Upgrade and go see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And avoid Hotel Artemis.
Did you go see that? I did.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but that was one of the ones where the trailer made it look better than it was.
I didn't realize, when I got home and saw some of the reviews, I was like, wow, I guess this is kind of a polarizing movie. I had a great time at Hotel Artemis.
I didn't hate it, but I was just kind of I don't know. I got out of it I felt like something was lacking.
I saw a lot of people in the comments said the same thing that you did. I had a great time. Upgrade was way better.
Oh yeah.
But I still had a good time.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I could just kind of turn off and watch, but at the end of it I was just like, I felt like there was something missing. I was like, I had fun, but I don't know. It was just, there was something there that wasn't there that was lacking somewhere.
See, I had that reaction to the other movie I saw that same night, which was Ocean's 8.
I mean, just really, did we need a fourth Ocean's movie? And much love to all of the fantastic actresses in that film, because they are, well, the majority of them who are not named Aquafina and Rihanna.
It was. Did you go see it?
I haven't seen it.
It is what it is.
It's the same thing as like the other three.
More or less. Like, I mean, just like it's serviceable, I guess, if you're watching it at home on Netflix.
Like, and see, that was the thing. Like, by the time they got to the third Ocean's movie, 13, I was just like, come on, guys, really?
What you do is you watch the original where they wait until the last 20 minutes to go like, oh right, I think we're doing a heist movie.
I liked Ocean's 11 though. It was fun.
The original?
Like, yeah.
The Sinatra one?
Both. Like the original one and the I liked both of them.
I do too.
They were smooth heist caper movies.
Yeah.
They were really good, and then they just kept adding bullshit onto them. It's like...
Remember I liked 13. 12, I couldn't do 12. Like she looks just like Julia Roberts. Oh my god, twist.
Good lord.
They don't do that in Ocean's 8. Maybe they should have. It would have made that movie more memorable. Alright, well, I don't know what else is coming out here this weekend, but... I can't even remember what the fuck's coming out next week. Shit, I can't remember. Whatever it is, I'll be there next week.
Hopefully,
to go
sorry
see
to bother you.
I hope that comes to Springfield.
Yes.
I fucking hope that... I hear that that's fucking great, so I really hope that comes here. But alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.
See ya.